Okay, friends, today we are working on solving number stories. Let's go ahead and write that down on the top of your notebook page. Okay, so today we're going to be exploring a guide for solving number stories. So this is like my notebook page here, but I'm going to be flipping back and forth with some number stories a little bit. So as we take a look here at this first one, I'm going to be using what we call a guide for solving number stories, and I will pass this out to each of you afterwards so that you can use it, keep it in your math folder, and refer to it as needed. Okay, so a guide for solving number stories, the first step is to understand the problem. You need to read the problem, you retell it in your own words. What do you want to find out? What do you know? Do you have any information needed to solve the problem? Okay. Step 2 is to plan what to do. Is the problem like one you've solved before? Is there a pattern? Can you draw a picture, a diagram, a number sentence? Number 3 is carry out the plan after you decided what to do. Be careful. Make a written record of what you do. Answer the question. And then finally, number 4 is look back. Does your answer make sense? Does your answer agree with your ballpark estimate? Can you write a number model for the problem? Can you solve it in another way? So I'm going to be referring to this as we solve this first one together. So when I read, I look, understands the problem. So I'm going to go ahead and read the problem, asking myself, what is it asking me? What is happening, right? It's because a number story is a story. There's a character in the story, there's action in the story, and we need to understand what's going on. So we got JT traveled from Colorado to Maine. He traveled 586 miles on Monday, 487 miles on Tuesday, 630 miles on Wednesday, and 373 miles on Thursday. How many total miles did he travel? Okay, so first of all, understanding the problem. What is he doing? What's going on? Okay, he's going on a trip. So I could go through and underline. I know that you don't have the problem written down. It's okay, just watching me right now. But I would underline the action, the event, what's happening to make sense of it. Okay, he's going on a trip from Colorado to Maine. Okay, what is it asking me to solve? How many total miles did he travel? Okay, so now I'm on to step 2, plan what to do. So I'm going to use my notebook page here, and I want you to draw along with me my plan. Okay, so when I think, I can kind of refer back here. I've got 586 miles on Monday, 487 on Tuesday, 630 miles on Wednesday, 373 miles on Thursday. It says how many total miles, so I know that I'm going to need to add those up, right? So when I have my diagram here, it's the way I'm going to plan to solve it. I'm going to use what we call a part-whole diagram, okay? So the whole, the total, I don't know. But I do know lots of parts, right? So I've got 586. I've got 487. I've got 630. And I've got 373. So go ahead and draw this diagram in your notebook. Okay, another strategy is to write an open number sentence, a number sentence with an unknown. We know all of our parts, we do not know our total. So since we're talking about miles, I'm going to use the letter M to stand for what my unknown is. So I could write 586 plus 487 plus 630 plus 373 is equal to M. M standing for the miles of my total right here. It's my unknown. Okay, so I'm going to quickly make a ballpark estimate for each of these. I notice that each of them has 100, so I'm going to round to the nearest 100. When I round to using this 100, I care about the 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's my thumb, so 586 rounds to 600. 487, I care about the 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's that thumb, so I'm going to round up. 487 rounds to 500. 630, I care about the 3. 1, 2, 3, no thumb, so it's going to stay the same. 630 rounds to 600. Okay, 373, I care about the 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's that thumb. I'm going to round up. 373 rounds to 400. So just to make a ballpark estimate, I know 6 and 4 make 10, so there's 1,000. 5 and 5 make 10, and then I've got one more, so then I've got 1,000 and one more 100, so 1,100 or 1,100. So my ballpark estimate is 2,100. Okay, so I want to make sure that my answers make sense. So rather than adding up all of these together, I think it's easier to break these into two larger parts. So I'm going to add these. It's kind of like I'm putting parentheses in, right? So I'm going to add these together to get a large part, and then I can add these two parts together, and then finally add my last two parts, large parts together. I like to write mine vertically. I'm going to do just traditional, but you can follow along and do any way that you like. Okay, so I knew 6 plus 6 was 12, so one more was 13. 8 plus 8 was 16, one more was 17. 5 plus 4 was 9, one more made 10. So I've got one large part here, 1,073. And then I've got 630 plus 373 to get my other large part. 0 plus 3 is 3. 7 plus 3 is 10. 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so now I've got two large parts that I'm going to add together. I like to draw mine vertically. So I got 3 plus 3 is 6, 7 plus 0 is 7, no hundreds, and then a 2. Okay, so there is my total miles. So now the last step is to write my number sentence, but instead of this M here, I've got what M stands for, my total. My total is 2,076 or 2,076. So the last thing I'm going to do is write my number sentence with my known. So I've got 586 plus 487 plus 630 plus 373 equals 2,076. Okay, so make sure that you've got that written down in your notebook there. So if I look back, how many total miles did he travel? What's my answer, friends?
2,076.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Okay. So I'm going to show you one more. I'll give you just a couple more seconds to get that jotted down. I still see some pencils moving. Thumbs up if you still, or raise your hand if you still need more time. Okay. All right, so we're going to do a different type of problem next. Okay, so on this one, Amelia's goal is to run 30 miles every week. So far this week, she has gone for a 6-mile run, a 7-mile run, a 4-mile run, a 7-mile run, and a 5-mile run. This is asking how much more does she need to run to meet her goal. I corrected myself. Okay, we've got a 6-mile run, a 4-mile run, 7-mile run, and a 5-mile run. Okay, so understanding the problem first, I need to get an understanding of what's going on. Well, I've got Amelia that's running that wants to meet 30 miles. Okay, so we've got Amelia's goal. She wants to run 30 miles every week. Okay, so far she's run 6 miles, 4 miles, 7 miles, 5 miles. My question is, how much more does she need to run to meet her goal? So in my plan on this one, I know what my total is supposed to be. I don't know what a missing part might be. Okay, so on my plan here, I'm going to draw another part-whole diagram. But this time I've got a missing part. So I've got my total, the goal, 30 miles. She's gone for a 6-mile run, a 4, a 7, and a 5. So we want to know how many more miles she needs to run. So this is our unknown right here. I'm going to put an M for miles right in that box. Okay, so again, I can write a open number sentence with my unknown. This time I've got my total, right? So I can write 30 equals 6 plus 4 plus 7 plus 5 plus M, our unknown number of miles. Okay, so I'm going to add up all of these parts to get a big part. Okay, I know 6 and 4 is 10, 7 and 5 has got 2 5s and 2 more, so that's 12. So 10 and 12 is 22. So I got 22 plus M is equal to 30. A couple of different ways I can do this, right? I can put 22 in my brain and count up to 30. Or I can do using fact families. I can do 30 minus 22 to figure out what my other part is. Go ahead, whichever way makes most sense to you. Go ahead and in your notebook, do a number sentence and figure out what that missing M is. walking around. It looks like lots of you have done a nice job. So I saw some of you use addition, but most of you ended up using subtraction. The last thing you need to do, go ahead and raise the roof if you knew M was 8. Good, good, good. Last thing you need to do then is write your number sentence with the answer here, with the number that stood for that M. So I had 30 equals 6 plus 4 plus 7 plus 5 plus 8. 8 miles left. All right, friends, you can say goodbye.